Okay, in this video we're going to take a look at the basic shapes. So you'll notice on the right hand side there's something referred to as basic shapes. And if you scroll down you'll see a collection of shapes. So how Tinkercad really works is that you use shapes to create your model. Instead of drawing it out, instead of scribbling it out, you essentially use the shapes. And they are quite helpful, and they're quite easy to use. So let's take a box, for example. And in order to grab a shape, you click on it, left click, and then you move your mouse over anywhere on the work plane, and you click on the work plane, and there you have your shape. So whenever you have a shape selected, like you do now, you'll notice that a dialog box appears. So within the dialog box, you could essentially change if it's a solid or a hole. And we're going to get into solid and holes in a second. You could change its color if you want to. And you could change the length of it, the width of it. You can even input a number. You could put how thick you want it. You could, for this particular shape, you could change the radius, and the radius is just the edges of the box, and you'll notice in just a second. You see the difference? And steps refers to kind of like the resolution of the box. Like you can make it very boxy, or you can make it very fine. Other things you could do is lock the shape into place, so that prevents you from grabbing it and moving it. If you unlock it, you can move it all about. Another thing that you can do is also hide the shape completely, and if you want to re-see the shape, you click on that. So, as I said before, you kind of need the shapes to create your design. So let's take, for example, let's make a simple keychain. And a simple keychain requires some text or art and a hole, right? And if you haven't done so, and if you need to do so, make sure to edit your grid. So click on edit grid like you saw me do. Go over here, edit grid. Make sure you're on inches so you can follow along. And if you have to change the dimension, type 8 here, and then update grid. So another thing that you could do to also change the width, the length, and the height is clicking on the white boxes. If you click on the white boxes, you'll instantly see the dimensions. And you could go over here, click on the number, and modify the number. Let's say for today's purposes, I just want it 1 inch in length. I don't want it so thick, so I'm going to click the thickness and change it to 1/2 inch. Maybe 1/4 inch. And let's see, 3 inches should be fine. So I have the base for my keychain. Let's add some text, some words, and like another design. So if you scroll, you're going to notice something over here that's text. Click on it, and then click anywhere on the workspace. And let's go back to the shapes, information box. And here under text, you can actually type in your own word. And I'm just going to type in my own name, or I'm going to type in maker. And then it doesn't have a lot of fonts to work with. Let's just work with this font. And now I'm just not going to make it, I'll keep it at 1/2 inch in thickness. My keychain is just 3 inches by 1 inch, so I'm going to make this a little bit smaller. I'm going to put 2.75 and probably make it a 3/4 of an inch tall. And I'm going to move this shape on top of this other shape. Now, it's not one solid shape, and you'll notice that I'm moving the view around, the workplace around. And to do that, if you have a regular mouse connected to your computer, you could right click and hold that right click and move the work plane around to get a better view. So, if I grab the shape, I'll be essentially just grabbing one of the shapes. I want to merge these two shapes together and make it into one solid piece. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this shape on top of the other. And I'm going to create a box around it. And by creating a box around it, and to create a box, I just left click somewhere away from the shapes, create a box, make sure the box, captures both shapes. So both shapes are within that red box you see. And both shapes are selected. And you can see right here, shapes 2. So both of the shapes are selected. Another way you can select all the shapes is hitting Control and A. That selects both shapes too. But Control A also selects anything that's within the work plane. Another way to select both shapes is hitting one of the shapes, hitting Shift on your keyboard, and hitting the other shape. So those are the various ways to select both shapes. And what we're going to do is we're going to hit this command right here, group. You could also hit Control G. And what it does is that it actually merges the two shapes together. So now you have one solid shape. Okay, so I have the base of my keychain. And if I ever wanted to separate the shapes, I would just click on it and click over here and ungroup the shapes. I'm going to ungroup and make this a little bit longer. And if you don't want to type in a dimension, you could always grab that little dotted black rectangle and actually move it. So those are other ways you can modify the design. You could actually just grab the white boxes or grab the black boxes and physically, manually move them to the desired dimensions that you wish. So I moved that. Now I want to select both shapes, group them together, make one solid shape, and you'll notice that instead of having two colors, you'll have just the one color. So my keychain needs a hole so I could put a key ring through it. So I have to make a hole. You can make a hole by grabbing another shape and coming into the shape information box, the dialog box, and clicking hole. So what that does is this shape becomes a hole in any other shape that you place it upon. So I'm going to make this this cylinder by 1/2 inch and 1/2 inch. Let's make it round. And I'm going to put it on top of my maker keychain. And in order to actually have a hole in my keychain, I have to select all the items, select all the shapes, and group them together. I have created a hole in my keychain. So this is how you play with the Tinkercad shapes, and this is how you can create your own personalized object or 3D model. Let's say I wanted to add a little heart to the mix. I'm gonna make this heart a little bit bigger. And to uniformly increase or decrease the size of the shape, you could hit shift and grab one of the white boxes and it will increase the shape uniformly. If I don't hit shift, you don't modify it uniformly. So I'm just gonna put that right there. Not make it too big. Make it bigger. So it's like love and maker. Love maker. Ah! Okay. I'm silly. But let's continue. Now, I just love makers and people who make. Alright. So again, let's select all the shapes. Group them together. And now I have my own personalized keychain. So what I would like you to do is start exploring the shapes and do this process of merging shapes together or using the hole command and holing them out. And if you go over here in Tinkercad and you click the little black arrow, you'll notice that there are far more shapes than you can imagine. There's text and numbers, there's characters, and characters did not load. Okay, characters loaded, and you'll notice like they have like ice cream cone, mustache, egg, and if you keep exploring, you'll find more and more shapes that you could use for your personal 3D model. So please explore these shapes. And it also says favorites over here. So if you have a favorite shape, like let's say for example the skull, you really like the skull and you want to be able to find it quickly, you could click right over here, click star, and under you and favorites, your shape will automatically be populated there. So please feel free to explore all the shapes available to you.